Hey, what's up, sports bettors? It's Matt Modi here with OddsJam. In this video, I'm just going to be giving you a betting preview for the Thursday night football game between the Bengals and the Dolphins. Actually turned out to be a pretty awesome Thursday night football game. The Dolphins, obviously, as of the time of this recording, I'm recording this on Monday afternoon before Monday Night Football. The Dolphins are one of two 3-0 teams in the NFL. The other one, of course, being my lovely Eagles. Have to shout them out. But for this game specifically, Bengals against the Dolphins, surprisingly, even though the Dolphins are 3-0 and the Bengals have looked pretty gross between their three games, the Bengals are pretty heavy favorites here. Moneyline odds, the best you can get on them are minus 175 if you locked that in on DraftKings. On the Dolphins side, the best odds you can get on them are at plus 160 on FanDuel. And looking at other sharp books, how they price it, BetOnline, Bookmaker, the OddsJam line, no value play here. No play is going to give you positive expected value on either of these two teams' moneyline odds. In terms of the point spread, what we're looking at here is if you click view alternate lines, it'll take you to where every book prices every spread, which is pretty cool. Most books have this around 3.5, 3, 2.5. There is some value on the Dolphins at plus 3.5 if you were so inclined. BetOnline and Bookmaker price this at 3, this spread at minus 3. So getting that extra half point, as you know, betting on football, that there's certain numbers for underdogs that are really important to get above. In this case, 3.5 is one of them. So if we look at the OddsJam line, they're basically telling you that the gap, that half point gap is about worth 20 cents because they have the minus 3. They have the Bengals minus 3 at minus 120, and they have the Bengals minus 3.5 at plus 100. Basically saying that half point is worth about 20 cents. And the Dolphins we can get at minus 107 on PointsBet. The one cool thing that PointsBet is doing is they're not charging as much of a vig as all these other books. So you see across the board, books are pricing this at minus 110 each way or juicing it a little bit heavier towards the Dolphins, but we can get them at minus 107 on PointsBet. So that is actually going to be my play for this game. My official prediction is the Dolphins spread plus 3.5. I don't think they should be getting 3 points. I wasn't exactly impressed, even in a victory against the Jets, with what I saw from the Bengals on last Sunday against the Jets. I mean, Joe Flacco gifted them into some plays. They still fumbled. They still, to me, look like an offense that couldn't get going. Joe Mixon had like an incredibly inefficient game against a bad defense. So I'm not quite sold on what I saw from the Bengals. They had that like long touchdown from Tyler Boyd, which is an explosive play, but not necessarily something you can count on. And the Dolphins defense, after getting shredded in week 2 against the Ravens, part of that I think is a little bit overblown. So the Ravens scored 35 points. 7 of them was on a kick return touchdown, not the Dolphins defense's fault. 2 of them were on like 80-yard plus touchdown plays. One of them on a run to Lamar Jackson. Another one on a pass to Rashad Bateman. Obviously, it's not ideal giving up those explosive plays, but after that, look at what they did against probably the best offense in the entire NFL in the Bills last week. They gave up 14 points in the first half. Didn't let the Bills score another touchdown the rest of the game. Had multiple fourth down stops at the goal line. Just a really impressive performance from the Dolphins defense, especially in that second half. And even in that first half, nothing came easy. They needed Josh Allen to bail them out of some pretty tough spots. So I understand getting the points on the Dolphins here, taking the 3.5 points. I think that is a great play. So that is my spread play, is the Dolphins 3.5. Get that at minus 107 on PointsBet. I like this one. I mean, if you look at where all the other books price it, FanDuel has this as the more likely scenario. Tipico as the more likely scenario. Circa, Fox Bet, Pinnacle and / OddsJam, sharpest sportsbook in the world, has this as the more likely scenario. In terms of the total, there is not a play that I saw here. The total is at about 47.5. If you did want to lock in the total, I would say lock it in on PlayUp at 47 because there is a little bit of value there. Getting Bookmaker giving you minus 115, the OddsJam line giving you minus 117. Now, if this was at minus 107, like what PointsBet is giving you, I'd be a little more confident in it. But I still don't think this over is a horrible play. I'm going to stick with the Dolphins spread as my official play for the main lines. But if you did want to hop in on the over, I don't think that would be bad. As you can see, if you give it another half point, we can still see some other books pricing the over as the more likely scenario, like BetOnline -115, the under at -105. Excuse me, BetMGM over at -115, the under at -105. PointsBet, same thing, -115, in this case -106. Then we have kind of -110 across the board, including BetOnline, which is another sharp sports book, pricing it a half point above this 47 number. And then OddsJam/Pinnacle pricing the over as the more likely scenario at 47.5. So there is a lot of value on this over. If you did want to dive in on that, there is a lot of value. But where I saw a really good play was actually on the team total and fading the Bengals team total. So the under 24.5 is actually a pretty good play for the Bengals. As you can see, the OddsJam/Pinnacle line prices this at -104, the over at -112. So if you remove the VIG, which is what I did, prices the true line of this play at about +104, and we can get it at +110 on PointsBet. So another PointsBet play, another positive expected value play on PointsBet, getting the Bengals team total under 24.5. And that makes sense to me, right? Like if we're going to back the Dolphins, it makes sense to also understand that the Bengals are not projected to score a lot of points. And I think that this is something that makes sense to me. You know, this bet has been locked in as well. So let me just add this to my bet tracker, $50. But this makes sense to me. Like the Bengals offense, it still isn't performing to the way we saw last year. Now, obviously they could get hot and just go on a rampage and just go bananas, but I haven't quite seen it yet. Their offensive line is still really, really in shambles. And I think that the Dolphins should be able to stymie the Bengals offense. So I like this play, especially the fact that it's positive expected value. Getting it at +110 is a good play. So those are going to be my official bets for this game. I was looking at the actual positive EV page to see if anything popped up. I didn't see anything. Yeah, there's nothing here on the positive EV page yet. But as the week goes on, I'm sure you'll see a ton of plays for this. Player props haven't been released yet, so that's one reason why. So in terms of official bets for this game, I'm sticking with the Dolphins point spread. I got them at +3.5 on PointsBet. I think I forgot to add them to my bet tracker. Click save there. And then I got the Bengals team total under 24.5 as well. So those are my two bets. That is my Sunday Night Football betting preview. Let me know if you're tailing. Let me know your thoughts on the analysis, what I got right, what I got wrong. And that's it. So appreciate you guys watching and have a good one.